very good afternoon. Welcome to the second of these interviews with various members of the committee and indeed staff here at Lancashire Golf Club. Today I'm delighted to be joined by our treasurer Garry Prankerd. Just to explain, Garry lives very close to the golf club, walks up here almost every day. I'm pleased to say today he's not in his bowler hat and coat because it's a very pleasant Monday here. Garry, thank you for your time this morning. Many of our members will know you from Rodney's on a Tuesday or Thursday or Saturday competitions, but for those of you who don't know Garry, a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Martin. Well, hello everybody. I'm Garry Prankerd, your club treasurer. I became treasurer 4 years ago, and after spending previous 3 years on the general management committee, I've been in the club around about 14-15 years now. It only seems like yesterday, and look forward to answering your questions, Martin.
Good stuff, good stuff. Well, you came in 2017, and we'll say it's purely coincidental, but your time as treasurer has linked in nicely with a really successful period for the golf club. Similar to many golf clubs, we're a non-for-profit business. Can you explain in sort of simplistic terms to our members who maybe don't understand what a non-for-profit business is?
Yes, we basically try to invest back into the club as much money as we can. That means we're not here to make a huge profit. In past years we were making losses, but through the strides we've made over the last 3 or 4 years, we're now making a consistent net profit. But we try to ensure at the General Management Committee that each year we invest the maximum we can back onto the course, into the clubhouse, and at the same time hopefully make a net profit.
So, different to maybe some of the golf clubs, the Celtic Man of the Vale, they're proprietary, purely there to make a profit.
They're purely there to make a profit. We're a members club, and therefore we just rely mainly on the members. I reckon in a normal year we would rely on 80% of our income to come from members, and maybe 20% thereabouts some visitors and sort of third-party functions in the Channel View Suite. But that's why we're so reliant on our members.
Fantastic. And so, in simplistic terms, we can only spend what we bring in. We try and reinvest that each and every year. So, taking us back to 2017, you know, I was here from 2016. I remember we've had some very forward-thinking committees, some excellent captains, a lot of business people involved in our committees as well. After a sort of decade of maybe struggling, I think it's fair to say, the committee took a decision. The way forward was to invest in the machinery, to invest in the clubhouse, the course, the people, and although we're sort of far from finished, we're now in a stronger position through investing year on year. I remember speaking to you about 18 months ago. Our membership was full. Our visitor numbers were about at the level we'd want to go to as a members club, and we almost sort of said, well, where's the growth? There's only perhaps one more area of growth for revenue.
That's right.
And that's in this room right behind us, isn't it? With the private functions, we have lots of club functions. Paul Maddox, and followed on by Martin Ashall, done a terrific job with the club functions. We've really started to let this room quite a bit, which that gives us the additional money. So 18 months ago, we're there with a full membership, a waiting list, and we said, what can go wrong?
What can go wrong?
What can possibly go wrong? We've got a business model that gives a small surplus each month, post depreciation, and we can keep reinvesting in the course, and it's just only going to go one way. So COVID comes along, and it's fair to say that with the exception of the membership income, zero income.
We've had no income whatsoever since the middle of December, so call it 3 months, other than the furlough income for the staff that we've had to furlough, and also a few grants that were applicable to us. Other than that, we've had no money at all, no cash in at all. And that's perhaps important to think about the cash side as well as the profit side of any business, particularly this golf club. We get in about 80% or 75 to 80% of our cash in March, April, when everyone pays their subscriptions. After that, our income is mainly reliant on bar revenue. And clearly, as Martin has said, with the shutdown, the bar shutting down, then reopening with limited sales, bar sales this year, in 2019, were no more than about £95,000 in sales, whereas in a normal year, we would be twice that, if not over £200,000 in bar sales. Now, that's a dramatic drop, and one we've had to manage. But it also means that we have less money to invest on the course. But it also constrains our cash a bit. because as I said, we've had the bulk of the cash in, and with bar sales dribbling off in November and certainly after December, we have to be very careful in terms of how we manage the cash going forward, which might lead to a question as to why we can therefore fund the paths, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
So yeah, I think the paths follow on from a number of significant investments here at the golf club. I think back to Paul Maddox and Annette's year when we invested heavily in machinery, which was really needed. We had an aging machinery fleet down in the shed. That was a long decision. We looked at all the different types of machinery out there. We spoke to other golf clubs, we spoke to other greenkeepers. Then we moved on to the roof, which was desperately needed. We had leaks regularly inside the clubhouse. We looked at every different type of material out there. We spoke to other golf clubs because this is unique. It's a clubhouse in the middle of a golf course that gets peppered with golf balls, certainly off the 10th, and that was probably 6 to 8 months, I think, in the before we committed to what exact material we proceeded for. And then the paths, once again, I remember speaking to Newport, to Monmouth this year. We looked at clubs in Bristol, all different types of path. We took our time before committing to the companies and the spend. So this decision takes time. It's taken by a committee that is voted on by the members. So each and every year, the members have a chance to vote on their committee. And certainly in my time here, I know that every single one of those decisions has been taken with real care, and we treat the members' money like our own. Although we keep talking about this running like a business, first and foremost, it's a members' golf club. We run it like a business so it's successful and we can keep reinvesting. So the paths, the plan was always to do it this winter. COVID came along, but we still proceeded.
Yes, that's right. The plan was always to do the path down the Forth because of safety reasons mainly. It meant that it hopefully would mean that that part of the course could be opened when there's severe frost and makes the old path quite slippery. It quickly became evident as the contractors moved on site that it would make sense to carry on and do the path up from the third tee up to the third green. Again, partially for the same reasons, safety, but also the amount of damage that was being done in terms of the heavy machinery required down that end of the course. We really didn't want to repeat that maybe next winter, and also, more importantly, it would mean the closure of the second, the third, and probably the fourth holes for a good period of time while the contractors came back to finish that part of the course. We always wanted to do the first as well, to make it the sort of biggest features when a visitor comes to the course, and I'm sure you'll all be impressed when you come to see it. Again, we took the opportunity of looking at the second, again partly because of machinery damage to the course getting over to that part. So we committed ourselves to increase the budget that we decided to spend on the third and the fourth, and now we have the first, second, third and fourth virtually complete with the pars. The cost of that, as you already know, because it's in the newsletter, is close to £100,000. That was more than in our budget, but we do have the cash reserves to complete that, and it's been great that we're able to have those reserves, which is down to the membership, because we've had no real bar income since November, December. So without that commitment from all the members and a full membership, during COVID we've actually proved we can actually run the club, albeit on a shutdown position, but B, we can still carry on with these major works, and I'm sure you're pleased with the pars when you come to see them next week or week after, hopefully.
I think, yeah, they look fantastic, and it's a rare opportunity. The reality is you never know until you start these projects, but we probably would have had to close holes 1 to 4 for health and safety purposes throughout this work, so it would have been a month of the first 4 holes closed. So I think it was the perfect opportunity. We're really disappointed that we can't have golfers out here right now, but it has enabled us to work safely and to push. Maybe we certainly wasn't planning to do the third originally. I've had 1 or 2 questions from members talking about the financial sustainability of the golf club. It's fair to say, similar to most members' golf clubs, and each year at the golf club, the highest our overdraft ever is in March. It always is, and then our subs come along, as you mentioned earlier, 80% of our income. But I think it's important that we reassure members that whilst we are stretching the numbers here, we're backed up by a full membership, we've got a huge waiting list of members looking to join our golf club that they can only come in. So the membership is very secure for a number of years here at the golf club. We never take that for granted, but clearly a lot of local golfers want to be part of this golf club. So yeah, just maybe a couple of words just to reassure the members that although we are in our overdraft, and by the time we've paid for all these passes, we right the limit. The timing is important, isn't it?
Yes. For the first time we will go overdrawn. For the last couple of years we've basically stayed in credit, even though we invested, as Martin said, the money on the clubhouse. We've also spent money inside the clubhouse over the last couple of years. I think the figure probably comes close to £50,000, and all that has to be funded from cash flow, from membership fees, from bar income, etc. We've managed to do that this year, although it means that the bank account has slipped overdrawn. It will not cost us a few pence in interest, but the timing of needing to do the pars, while A, the course was closed, and B, the weather conditions permitted, said we had to complete the extra work I've just been talking about. But the account will go back into credit, and our budget, I think we're on budget number 7 so far.
Already for this year?
For this year, we're only in March. We're confident that with a realistic return to golf and some good golfing weather in the summer, that we will be able to return a profit again this year, and hopefully invest some money again next winter.
What's interesting as well, we're still waiting for our audited accounts. I put a couple of lines in our last newsletter about that. It's another side effect, if you like, of COVID. So Carstens, our accountants we've used for a number of years, their restrictions during COVID meant they couldn't come out to the golf club to carry out the audit, and it's been delayed by about 4 to 5 weeks. That will have a knock-on effect of the AGM being pushed back. So very important to let members know that's the reason. We almost certainly will have to do the AGM via Zoom, so that's going to be an interesting challenge for everyone involved. The EGM, we may do that later on in the year, but we'll certainly let members know about that, maybe when we can do that in person. But although we don't have the audited accounts, we have the internal accounts. We know roughly what they're going to look at. What's very interesting is on the income line, clearly around over £100,000 down this year. On the expenditure line, we've saved on the clubhouse spend, clearly using the furlough scheme. We've saved on the administration side of the running the golf club. Things like the rates holiday have really helped. The greens expenditure, though, almost the same as 2019. So really important to explain to the members that despite this massive drop in income, we haven't cut back on the course whatsoever.
No, absolutely right, and Martin's comment, that doesn't include the pars. That's just general day-to-day work on the course. We've not cut that back, and whatever Mark and his team have required for the course, that has always been provided, and hopefully always will be provided. We made a small profit in 2019, but that's subject, as Martin said, to Carson's annual accounts, and we'll wait for that over the next few weeks, and we'll clearly communicate with all members as to the availability of the booklet with the Treasurer's report and all the other reports in it. But we hope that will come over the next few weeks, and somehow we can organise an AGM to give the members opportunity to ask questions of the committee, which is your right.
Yeah, and I think it's important to put this video out now, because normally the AGM booklet with those accounts would come out with your subscriptions. That can't be the case this year for the simple reason we don't have the audited accounts, which is why I was really keen, and I'm pleased Gary agreed to do this sort of Q&A today to talk a bit about the finances and answer a lot of the questions that I know that are out there from our members. Now, we notified the members midway through last year we wouldn't be carrying out the bar forfeit this year, so that's important to remind all members. Your balance on your bar card will still be there for next year's subscription. We're also giving all of our playing members 2 guest passes. I've been asked why we're doing that. The course is going to be very busy. The members want to get on the golf course when we come back. That's the reason why we've said these passes will be available to our members later in the summer. So I think we're talking about from the 1st of September onwards. So certainly the priority when we reopen is member golf. Any visitor inquiries, I've tried to push them back to later in the summer, so it'll be very much a member-focused golf course when we reopen. But I think it's fair to say, Gary, what has transpired over the last couple of months is a lot of local golf clubs have decided to maybe extend the membership or to give a month's subscription as a rebate as such. In simplistic terms, would I be right in saying that if we'd have done that, the Path project couldn't have gone ahead?
Yes, I think that's fair to say. In addition to what Martin has said, we've not increased the membership fees this year. Again, that's in line with some other clubs, but I know other clubs have increased their fees again every year, and they're doing it again this year. We would, if we had given any sort of rebate to all the members, roughly that would cost the club between £40,000 and £50,000 in lost income. Now that, as it happens, was approximately the cost of the extension work we did, as I explained before, to the paths to enable us to complete all the paths on the first, second, third and fourth. And the committee believed that it would be more appropriate, and the timing of the course closed, to complete that work now, and therefore everything would be ready and finished, never have to go back there again. The sort of downside of that is that we couldn't then entertain any sort of rebate for all the members.
I think it's a fair enough point, and the thing about freezing the subscriptions is a really key point, because what's become apparent as other clubs have released their subscriptions, yes, they may have offered some back, but they've actually put an increase on there as well. So there's a little bit stealth there, I would say. But one of the other things that I want to clarify, we did communicate this with the members last year, but I appreciate during lockdown everyone has a million and one things on their mind. Now, the club took a decision to offer rebates to those members affected by the local lockdowns, okay? Now, if they were Caerphilly based, that was 7 weeks of golf. Now, important to stress, the rebate they've been offered against their subs, that's not in return for lost golf at Lanarsham. It's to reimburse them for the cost of golf.
Correct.
That they were having to pay elsewhere.
Yeah, need to make that absolutely clear. It's for all members, not just Caerphilly members. There are we reckon about 100 members who were outside the Cardiff area in the local lockdown and were having to pay to play for their golf. We thought that was inequitable, and we agreed then a fixed sum of up to £140 for each of those members. If they wished to claim it, they didn't have to, and I have to say only about 40 to 50% of the members who were due that refund actually claimed it, which I found absolutely stunning, and thank you. And for those who did claim the money, we didn't ask how much golf they paid. We know that a lot of them paid far more than £140 to pay their golf, whilst the rest of us I'm from Cardiff, or the rest of us were playing golf on our course. So it's a rebate off their this year's subscriptions, 2021. There was no cash refund to them.
Yeah, and I would add at this point, I tried quite relentlessly during that period to try and set up a free reciprocal for each of our local areas. Now, some golf clubs in certain areas local to us maybe saw that as an opportunity to make a bit of revenue, and they just wouldn't budge on that. So I offered their members free golf here, but they just weren't entertaining that. So once it became apparent our members were having to pay to just continue their golf, whilst the vast majority could still come to Lanarsham and play their golf for free, the committee took that decision. So because of that reason, any members of other golf clubs that lived in the Cardiff area that wanted to come and play Lanarsham would charge the green fee, the same amount that our members were paying elsewhere. And just by complete chance, when you actually look at the balance, the income the club received pretty much covered the cost of that rebate. So important to stress to the wider Lanarsham membership that offer didn't in effect cost the golf club anything, and is separate to any decisions that we've made subsequently. So we find ourselves about to send out our member subscriptions. We're certainly hopeful of no more lockdowns. That would be the hope. We're still awaiting the roadmap to us when we can open, but we're really confident that reinvesting in your club, the members club, on the course with structures, paths, routes that will be here for many years to come was the right way forward.
Yes, and that's something we would like to continue. Maybe not to the level that we have over the past few years in 2021 and 22 into the winter. A lot will depend on the timing of when the bar opens, but we can still invest with a full membership. And what COVID has taught me is that, all right, we have a government support like all businesses from the COVID schemes, that we can operate this golf club with a full membership to the standards of the course that we always want and hope to enjoy, and still make a reasonable amount of investment in the rest of the club. what we really would like to do is get back to golf, get back to the normal levels of income so we can increase that level of investment and maximise that everywhere on the course.
I think it's fair to say, as we sit here at the start of March, again, version 7 of this year's budget already, we keep pushing back when we can expect some degree of normality, but it's fair to say it's going to be another year affected by COVID, one form or another. But just wanted to take the opportunity to thank the members. You know, I've received so many phone calls and emails from members just understanding what we're doing, understanding that we're reinvesting in the club, stating their support for the golf club, and we're in the enviable position that I really don't know of another local golf club that has the support of their members like ours does. So thank you from both of us. On behalf of all, I know the captains thanked all the members in their letter as well. We look forward to seeing you back in the very near future. As soon as we know, we'll let you know. I can assure you of that, Gary. Thank you for your time today. It's been really good to speak to you about this. And once again, we look forward to seeing you in the not too distant future.